Okay, hopefully this will be a fast tutorial about spectral maps. I'm going to use this subject here. It's just a single object, and I'm using the color scheme to create different panels here. So this is the object that we'll have in real flight. The color scheme is created here. That's the blue background, the black legs in the back, and the red squares. Each of these squares are divided up into their rows. So it's row 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're also folded into the front just to keep it organized. So I can get to each square individually, in other words, and that way we'll be able to color each square individually in the diffuse map. So, I mean in the spectral map. So the diffuse is finished. So I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to save this as Spectoral. Okay, so that turns this into what's going to be our spec map. Looks exactly like that. The only difference is we can't have anything in color. We're going to need to change all these colors around first in the layers and then in the alpha channel. So first off, I'm going to want to go to this background color, and remember that we're working with only in the grayscale, so only colors along this side of the color picker. From black to white, we have 256 steps, from 0 to 255. We have 4 rows here, so what we're going to do is divide up that 255 into 4 equal parts, which should be about every 85.3, something like that, along the range. So we just need to we need to color this first row, the entire row here, black, because we're going to end up with this top row being white, bottom row being black, and then the 2 steps in between. If that makes any sense at all. Okay, so I'm in black here. I'm going to go to this layer. I'm going to control click on the layer frame there, and I'm just going to fill. It looks light like that because I have the mesh layer on. So I'm just going to continue through here, coloring each layer black. Okay, so that's first row, and this is just going to control how much light that our surface will receive in these particular areas. Black means it's not going to receive any reflections. Yeah, no matter what we do in the alpha, this area here will just be red and nothing will be happening here. So as we go up, we're now gonna change to 85. It's 85.3, but this is close. We're gonna get it within 4 divisions. So 85, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna go through each one. Okay. And one more time here. And now we're going to bump that up to about 170. Would actually be 170.6, but 170s. And we're talking about this number here, 170s. All of those should read the same number in the RGB scale. So, okay. I'll explain this a little more once I get these filled in. Okay, and then the last row, the final 4th row up here, we're going to color that pure white, so I can just flip the boxes here. White. White. Okay, so white right here would say that we would be saying it's the most reflective in these 4 boxes, and as it descends it'll be the least reflective, right down to being not reflective whatsoever in the black. When you're up here in the white and we're working with an alpha channel that's, say black in this area, then we're going to get just a real hazy, fuzzed out, fuzzy reflections, if anything at all. It's really reflecting just the light mainly, and there's no focus to that reflection. So basically that's what you can think of the alpha layer as doing. It would be it would be focusing the light or the reflection. So to create an alpha channel, first thing we're going to do is go over here to the channels tab and hit this little icon here for a new layer. That's going to give you an alpha layer created at the bottom. It comes in all black by default. Black meaning that, I mean, that's good for a spectral map. You want this to be completely black, and we're just going to color the areas that we'd like to control that reflection in. So clicking back over here, now let me get back into layers so I can show you what we're going to do here. Alright, so we're going to do the same process here, only in the alpha we're going to run all of all the columns. We're going to run in columns here, all black in the first column, and we're going to be at 85, and then 170 in this column, and then we'll be at at 256, or full white in this column. So we'll get a good mix from being not specular, not glossy in this lower left corner, and then the upper right corner we're going to end up with the highest possible reflection, because there'll be white here and white in the alpha. So basically, since our alpha channel is all black, we don't need to do this first vertical column because it is black already. So I'm going to select, go down here to the first row, and we'll start with the second one here, and we'll switch over. And as you click into alpha, you'll see that you still have your selection. It's in the same exact spot as it needs to be, only we're coloring the alpha channel. Alpha for a spec map, I think I've covered it, but the whiter it is, the sharper the reflections, the blacker, the duller or hazy the reflections are going to be. So here we're going to want to switch this to our 85, which is 1/4 of that overall 256 levels of gray. Okay, so we're going to repeat this process. So I'm going to go back to, okay, I'll go back here to alpha. I'll go to layers. I grab that second layer here in the next shot. There we go. Back to alpha, fill, layers. I go up to the next one, alpha, and finally in the top one, and fill. Now we're going to repeat this process, only one color up. I'll go back down here to the bottom, grab this next box. While I'm over in the alpha, I'm going to go to 170 and fill. Back to layers, to the next set, fill in the alpha channel, this is repetitive, I know, but it should show you how easily you can create an alpha channel for anything. I mean, these could be any details that you like, the head of a motor that's a little shinier than the matte body of that motor, or reflective glass, is a difference from rubber. Rubber would be black and glass can be white. So I mean, it just doesn't matter how you get your selection. You're going to get your selection from over in your layers and transfer those over. So here we're back in the alpha. Okay, now we can change this, flip this over to white, and we'll do our last set. So go back down to the bottom, grabbing the, oops, didn't mean to do that, grabbing the top one, I'm having a hard time. Okay, alpha. Alright, looks like I screwed up. I'm going to switch that back to the top row. Okay, now I'm going to switch over. I'm sorry if this is confusing at all. Okay, so now back to the alpha. I'm going to fill white. And top row here, white. Top row here, white, and finally this one here. Yep. And white. Okay. So now we're looking at the, this is our alpha channel, and we're going in columns from black to 1/4 gray. And I guess I don't know if you call it 1/4 gray or not, but it's set up into quarters. So black, dark gray, light gray, and white. And then we have the same situation here in the RGB layers. I guess I never did change this base color here. I'm going to change this base color just to black. It's already black in the alpha, so just so that it's not going to be a hassle. So okay, so collapsing all this stuff, you can see what it looks like. We're in the layers, and our layers are set up to look black at the bottom, moving upwards to white, and then in the channels the alpha is set to be black and moving towards white, left to right. So this is ready to be saved out. We already have the color scheme saved, normal. So the normal TJ. So we're going to save this one out. So I'm going to save the Targa, and I'm going to hunt this down over here in Real Flight. Custom models. Okay. So now I can just click on that TGA and put in our _S, and that makes the spectral map. Okay, so this is done here. Oh, right. Oh, sorry. One thing that you have to remember is to save as 32 bits. That will save that alpha channel for you. Okay, I'm going to hit save on this one. Okay, here we are in Real Flight. Now I'll just need to go to the edit window here, and it'll create that spectral map for us, and we can bring that back and have a look. Control E is going to let me look it over. Now you can see the very bottom rows aren't receiving much, if anything. I mean, if they really get some steep angles here to see what's going on, and I'll provide these files so you can look them over yourself and load them up. But you can see, especially in that upper right corner, that the reflections are at their sharpest, brightest, and as they work down they get duller, and they get less reflective as they work over to the left side of the board. So I hope that helps out.